In this video, we're looking at simplifying algebraic fractions. So when simplifying these fractions, you start by identifying the highest common factor, if there is one, and then after this, you can look into cancelling any terms that are both in the denominator and the numerator. So what I mean by that is, if we look at this example here, we have 5a plus 10 over 5. So the first thing I need to do is realize that at the moment I can't do any cancelling, that's all I can do. But I can factorize the top because I notice that there is the highest common factor of 5. 5 is shared between 5a and 10. So what I'm going to do is factorize that down. So what I end up with on the top is 5 bracket a plus 2 over 5. Now if I wanted to just make sure I did factorize that correctly, I can quickly just expand it out to make sure I get the original. So 5a plus 10, which was the original numerator, so that makes sense. That's a correct factorization. Now I notice that 5 and 5 are shared on the numerator and the denominator, so they can cancel out, and I am left with a plus 2. You don't really need the brackets at this stage. And that's the fully simplified fraction. So you look for that high, you try to factorize first where you can, whether that means highest common factor or using product sum method or the quadratic formula, whatever works for you. You use that some way to factorize them down and then cancel out any similarities. So here's one where we have two quadratics. We have one on the numerator and one on the denominator. So what we need to do is factorize these down. So I'm going to do two ways of factorizing. I'm going to focus on the top one first. So s squared plus s minus 2. And what I'm going to do is the quadratic formula. So I know that not x, s is going to equal minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, where a is going to be 1, b is going to be 1, and c is going to be negative 2. So what I can do now is quickly do that. So equals negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 squared and minus 4 times 1 times negative 2. It's important to use brackets in this case to make sure we don't miss, or when we put lakes it in the calculator, it doesn't give us the wrong answer, over 2 times 1. And what I get here is I get that s equals 1 or s equals negative 2. Now that's not factorized, that's just telling us solutions. So what we're going to do here is minus 1 plus 2 plus 2. So I get s minus 1 equals 0, s plus 2 equals 0. So my brackets, my factorized form is going to be s minus 1, s plus 2 for the numerator. Now if I focus on the denominator, so over a dotted line, so we can separate them. Alright, we're going to do the product sum method. So we need two numbers that times give 6, but add to give 5. So in this case, my two numbers could be negative 2 and negative 3. Sorry, 2 and 3, what am I saying? 2 and 3. And I want to test them, so 2 plus 3 equals 5. So that's good, that matches my plus term. And then for my times term, 2 times 3 equals 6. So both of them are correct. So my s plus 2, s plus 3 is my denominator factor. So those are two ways. You could do both. I could just do the quadratic formula way, or I could do the product sum way for both. I don't have to do one or the other. So now that I've got that, what I can do is rewrite my fraction out. So what I get is s minus 1, s plus 2 on the top, and then on the bottom I get s plus 2, s plus 3. Now I look for my common terms. That is common with that, so they cancel out, and I'm left with s minus 1 over s plus 3. So you need to use all your knowledge about factorization with these type of questions to factorize it down as much as possible, and then cancel out any common